Go ahead, Rico.
All right, we were just chatting, presented at the Toronto Jug last night about Java apps with AI with LangChain for J. So I can fill you in later since I already told everybody here.
Yeah, brilliant. Well done. I presume, I assume it went well anyway.
I it's an easy topic to get people enthusiastically joining. So that sets you up to start well.
Yeah, well done. Okay, so let me. That's nice. Let me share. Oh, also is so Phil went to the Garden State Jug, Don you went to Toronto Jug, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. At some point I thought, oh wow, you two went together.
No.
Yeah, separate.
Okay. Okay, so for the PRs, I saw two PRs. Which PR we should work on?
So
I think
last week we talked about that. So I guess there's the pull 4 which supersedes pull 3.
Yeah.
Shall we close this one then? Shall we
Not
close
really.
this? Ah? Oh,
Not
you mean
really. No.
this? Oh, you mean this one need to merge first, and then this can merge. Is that right? Or this supersede this one?
Yeah,
Four
we're
is,
trying to.
four is yeah.
This
Yeah,
one, this one.
Supersedes the
trying to make
four.
sure that everything that's in 3 is in 4. Then we can close 3.
Oh, so you are not sure.
Well, because we've made more changes on 3 than we did on 4.
Wow.
And so, yeah, ideally, if we're gonna use 3, if we're gonna use 4, we must make sure that everything that's on every discussion we had on 3 that was done on 3 should be in 4.
Are you going to are you going to have a look to see whether anything needs to be bring to 4? Who will take that?
Well, I've done most of the stuff, but I don't know about the others. But
So the thing is kind of are there anybody else have any concerns? Like anyway, we can't really have two repeating things. So when you're saying you are not sure what is being moved to 4, so this is gonna. So we need to. I cannot see anything else. So this is commit. As pretty much you worked on this.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then
So can you take a look to see your changes end up in Emmanuel's?
I've already did view Emmanuel's. I've made some comments. I think it's made all the changes. So that's why I'm wondering if everybody else has seen any other issues.
I mean, I had 2 or 3 main concerns, and I think we have decided on all of them. I see that Emmanuel also is now using CDI4 and Wild 5 only. So that is EE10 MP7. So I'm okay with that. And we talked about small die fault tolerance, and we are going to address that in a separate PR after either of this one goes in. So
Yeah.
that should be fine. The I think the only other thing that I had in mind was small write testing, but I'm just gonna do that also as a separate change before we make the release out of this repo. So
Okay.
yeah, so
So
I'm okay if this goes in as it is, basically.
okay. So let's more updates after the initial. So let's write down. So we don't basically, and then we have a record. We can hit the button. So it's fault tolerance and which one?
Small write testing.
Yes, we're still putting small I for testing for the integration test, I think.
For integration test.
I don't know if, yeah, integration test or unit test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much fault tolerance integration.
Yeah, and this is not a update on the PR, but I think we need to work on the GitHub actions, right? Basically, where we decided that our base build would be JDK 17, but then other vendors or the example builds can use their own JDK version, like Helidon will use 21 and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. Is that pretty much?
Yeah, I think those were the main things, pretty much. Yeah. We were
So
gonna file issue on fault tolerance. Either Buhik, you or Ed did that on MP fault tolerance issue, or was it a REST client on MP that we need to file an issue on?
No. This we said that we should open it on fault tolerance, but ideally it should be open on the CDI spec.
We were going to ask this question in the discussion group, right? Because it seems like Max Anderson said this might already be working. So have we started that discussion thread?
Yeah, I know what he's talking about, but yes and no.
Okay. Sorry, yes. And do we have something that everybody can track, a discussion or an issue where this is happening?
We need to open it on a MicroProfile discussion group somewhere.
Okay. I think there's a Google Groups, right? Emily, that is the right way to go about it? Like send an email to the...
Yeah, if you click on microprofile.io. So what's your question? Join the discussion. So what's your question again? I just didn't quite get.
I think if you... Sorry, go ahead, Buhik. Yeah.
For fault tolerance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you cannot annotate interfaces with all these annotations currently and get triggered, you need to assign it to an interceptor. And to do that, if an implementation has an interceptor binding annotation that you need to register it with. So some of them are package private like Helidon, and Smora is public, so you can actually assign it with interceptor binding over there. That's why we're using Smora fault tolerance. If you want to make it independent, whether you want to use Helidon or whatever, we can't currently do that because, like I said, Helidon is package private, so there's no way to bind it to it.
Which one is package private?
What?
Helidon's fault tolerance, but for this example, we're using Smora fault tolerance.
I still don't understand. So which class is you are directly using implementation details, not using the spec? Is that what
No,
you're
no.
saying?
Open right where you are, the first clusters over there.
Yeah.
Go down. You'll see somewhere line 46.
46. Yeah.
I'm adding the fault tolerance binding, which is an interceptor binding annotation, so that you can trigger
Oh,
it, because you can't annotate the fault tolerance can only be annotated on a CDI implementation. So a CDI being that is an implementation, not on an interface only.
for tolerant binding is from small array, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So this is not in the spec. So are you saying you would like fault tolerance binding to be in the
You need to bind.
MicroProfile fault tolerance spec?
No, what I'm saying is, if I'm going to use, for example, Helidon, for example, right? Instead of putting fault tolerance binding for Helidon, on 46, we should supposed to put like command binding, which is exactly the same thing as fault tolerance binding for small right? So that Helidon can use it. But you can't do that because it's package private. So you can't register it with Helidon fault tolerance because it is package private. So ideally, you should have some interface to link into an interceptor binding, which you can't do for fault tolerance at the moment. That's why
You
it's the same thing
actually
why REST's client also cannot apply fault tolerance, because you can't annotate it with, for example, at retry on an interface and then it gets kicked in,
right.
because
So
it can't be registered into a interceptor binding.
So there's two problems here. One problem is here you directly have a dependency on the libraries, small array. So
Yeah.
basically this is kind of so ideally here you should only need to depend on the spec, the MicroProfile spec. So it's a binding is one. There's other things like the method or the config, method and operation is kind of you all need the kind of the access. So it's not simple as you make it. Even though the Halliday has done the kind of the package, not package private public, and then you basically Halliday have to implement us differently. So this is the
Yes.
implementation, isn't it? Is in the
So
implementation.
yeah, for the idea was, if we needed to do Helidon, we'll have to create a Helidon specific extension and then assign it with do the validation with Helidon. And once if the validation is successful, then we register it to the interceptor binding from Helidon. So
I don't think that's a good approach. If you have any other implementation, you keep on doing all sorts of different
yeah,
implementation.
that's the problem.
Yeah. So
I
ideally, so basically this kind of the in the spec you register basically provide extension, and then implementation provide a service. And in here, you use the service loader kind of the pattern to load that class and directly getting that service and etc. So you don't need to have a kind of the open up any kind of discussion and etc. All you need to do, go to MicroProfile fault tolerance specification, read the issue clearly, clearly spell out what you need, and then you kind of discuss from there.
okay.
So this is basically you want fault tolerance to provide additional kind of the APIs or services.
Yeah.
So this is the pretty much a small array kind of the related things. This is the kind of, you can't really use it for some other. You could, if you use like inherit need to specify small right dependency.
Yeah, I mean, that is the thing. So we are gonna, yeah. So like you said, we were initially gonna raise the Google discussion, but if you think the issue should go directly, then we can do that. And then after this PR goes in, what we are gonna do is the 4 classes that you see are coming from small RAI fault tolerance. We are gonna bring those classes local to this LangChain 4j CDI fault tolerance package, like parallel to this extension, so that all other vendors don't have to have small RAI fault tolerance dependencies on their application until that issue is addressed by MicroProfile specification, right? So that is the
Can
approach
you
that we.
can you only take these 4 classes, or you have to bring the whole small right fault tolerance? Yeah.
No, it's more complicated. You can't just bring these
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, I think there's other kind of the transitive dependencies as well. I think you have to package the whole small right fault tolerance.
Do
Because
we
it's
consider something as a reference implementation in MP, like in EE world, as a of
no,
specification?
even
Okay.
even in Jakarta EE, there's no reference implementation. Is they are all equal implementations.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
I think what about some other other ones? Do you have a directly need to use any particular like libraries from an implementation?
4? No, it's only
That's a,
fault tolerance that was the problematic issue. Because if
okay.
you annotate
So
the
yeah,
interface alone, the proxy does not have the annotation. It does not share it to the proxy, so it will never get called.
okay. So that let's go
The
back.
only person that they've done the only people that've done it they've done it right is Caucus. I don't know how they do this.
Did they directly use a small right?
Okay, there you go.
I do not know. I'm asking.
I have no idea. I know they have somewhere in the recorder somewhere they probably register it somehow. But I've not bothered enough to check how they've done it. But ideally, this solution, I've added a method called get add interceptor binding, so that it doesn't matter which reference implementation you use. If you can register it into an interceptor binding, will register it, and then it uses an interceptor factory to register your, and that's it. So it's just the binding that's the issue, because you it's impossible to bind it to an interface alone and get it kicked in.
Okay. Yeah. So Bahik, can you go ahead to read the PR or read the issue on the MicroProfile fault tolerance with a detailed description. And if you want, if you have some initial thought, go ahead to propose a PR as well. If you
Okay.
if you have something already in the working. Okay.
Yeah, Emily, I think you have a typo. You wrote MP telemetry instead of MP fault tolerance, but and I think we are at the
Oh,
end of,
sorry.
yeah, that's okay. We are at the end of the meeting.
I
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, Vivek, I had a quick question on the chat interface for metrics. You are directly using open telemetry APIs. And I'm sorry, I'm not up to the speed on MP telemetry specification. So we no longer have MP metric specific API Emily, right? We recommend directly using Open Telemetry API. Is that the case?
Correct.
Yeah,
I don't have any MP telemetry
But-
APIs.
But that is coming up in future, or is it part of MP7?
It won't come in the future. That's a direction. We're not going to add any APIs. We want to
What-
consume from upstream because that's Open Telemetry is already spec itself. We just adopt their APIs.
Okay. Okay, I'll take a little closer look at what is the guidance in MP7 to generate metrics, like what APIs to use. But I saw that we are directly using Open Telemetry, and that's what I was wondering about.
Yeah, that's
That's all.
correct.
Yeah, so that
And-
basically means that anybody who uses LangChain4j CDI metrics would somehow have to initialize their OTel providers, right? Basically, before running the module.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
If they use any kind of like runtimes and etc., they will basically, like Liberty, we already have the necessary grown up work can directly all the. Obviously, you need to provide the backend.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can produce the metrics, and then you can plug in the exporter and etc. and have them displayed. So are we in a position to merge this one?
Yeah, I think so. Whichever way we decide. I mean, if Buhik's PR goes first and then Emmanuel wants to rebase and make changes on top of that, or directly go this one, either way is fine with me.
But if Emmanuel, you based on the Buhik's, right? Or you
No,
directly
no,
took the Buhik?
No, I didn't take because
This is
I thought mine from small LLM after just after the latest release. Because I wanted to have the integration test and etc. all in place before forking. Thus, I forked after. I think Buake forked before that.
okay. So
yeah.
here the artifact ID. Do you use the CDI the artifact ID? Which one did you use? CDI or CDI core?
we've changed to CDI core.
Which one CDI core?
Oh, go to the root pump, I think.
I think it's 4.0.0
Root.
or the 0.1. Yeah.
CDI parent. So the artifact ID, this one is CDI parent. CDI parent. Okay. And then this one is CDI core. Okay. So this one is CDI core.
Yeah, there is always function for just CDI.
Okay. So we can directly merge this one, and so since this is kind of newer, brand new, and I guess you all reviewed it, right? It's similar to Bohig's. So we
Yeah.
can merge this in, and then after merged, and then we'll be able to clone it and to see exactly what need to be changed. And then all of you can create a PRs on top of this. Agree?
I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
Buhik is okay because he
And
will
then-
lose the credit of contribution. So if he's okay with that, that's fine with me.
So Bohik, I don't know what Emmanuel and Bohik, you two decide.
Manual has integration tests that's additional. I don't have integration test. Well, my Windows machine couldn't. It says my namespace is too long. Well, couldn't pull fully because the names were too long, so I decided to not bother with it.
So I don't know from both of your work on the smaller LLM. Yeah, you both have spent a lot of time. So for the coding and etc. Like for the or the other thing, this is very political. For this examples, who did the examples?
All of us.
Oh, okay.
Because I did the one for
Yeah,
for Open Liberty, and the others have done for everything else.
yeah. But anyway, I think is we can merge in, and we should be able to say says what is it? Initial job from the work. So tell me who else? Who else?
Jan
Jan,
Brazov.
Oh, he has not. Let
With
me quickly.
it's
J
while yeah BLA the
GL
ART B
G BL.
BL Brazov BLA the Z ART.
Okay. Who else?
No, it's R and G at the end, not G. R. No,
Okay.
sorry. It's
Okay then.
Brazov.
So
Let me
Blazak.
spell you in the chat.
And
Yeah.
then yeah, I will.
R for Rod, R
Yeah,
for Roger, and T for Tango. So not the G for guava. No. Yeah.
R T. Yeah, that's what R and T.
R no. R for
R.
Roger, T for Tango.
T.
Yeah.
T for tango.
Yeah.
Oh, that. Blazak.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, he has not joined this repo yet, but we would do.
I put a URL. Maybe you can use that
URL.
in the Zoom chat. Those are the contributors to Small LLM repo basically so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zoom.
Zoom chat, not Slack.
Oh gosh, it's Zoom. Zoom couldn't come back.
Yeah.
We stop. Okay. And then after this, all contributors from I was wondering kind of. So this I was wondering like from the small right, how best to return the history.
That was yeah. That's why initially I created a branch from small ILM, but then I copied it to function for JCDI. I mean the code, and then I did some of the change that were asked for, so I don't have them on the small ILM branch anymore.
So LLM, let me see. So branch on feature NP launching for JCDI. If let me see, let me share again. Maybe it's share. So this is the branch. And then it's, ideally, if we move this branch to the other repo,
Well, Emmanuel's branch should be the latest.
oh, so yeah, should be latest. Will that branch reserve the contributions?
Should have. If we
If I merge in, will it be able to see the different contributions? Or is it all under Emmanuel's name?
Emmanuel, did
No,
you
it's
pull
my
the
it's on my own repo. I mean, yeah, I think there's a pull request for it, but it's a bit like I said, it's a bit old now. So you should see on the pull request. I think there's a pull request for it.
So let me experiment something. I think just trying to
No,
say
there's
if
no idea.
if this one, if we want to create a PR, so how did you create a PR? You basically create a PR from this main to, oh, this is different fork. This is different fork
I sent you the link to my branch on the chat
on this chat.
on the Zoom chat.
Or this branch.
Yeah, it's the branch. My initial fork of function for a small LLM is on my own repo because this is yeah. So you have to that's the one. So that's my initial one, but then I think last week we decided to have last week it was I saw that we wanted to have a long chain for J CDI pull request. Thus I I copy the content of this branch and created a dedicated branch on launching for JCDI. And then since then I've been working on the launching for JCDI branch.
Yeah, I think
So when I say launching for JCDI branch, it's a launching for JCDI repository with and the branch from that repository.
yeah. So I'm not concerned with the code. Now I'm just trying to find out when I merge in your PR is as Ajiv said, it looks like from the record of the Git contribution, everything is under your name. I don't know whether, I mean,
Yeah,
if
so
other people may not feel comfortable.
okay.
So
I mean, if you want to, I mean, this one, so I would have to rename a bit of things like long chain for just CDI config and pconfig, which now is CDI config, if I remember correctly.
yeah, let
Uh,
me see. Let me see like this one contribution. Let me see the small right one. Let me see the contributors. So basically Bahik and then you and then Yan. That's pretty much. The rest is pretty much kind of can be ignored. So 3 of you. I think one thing it might be fair. I don't know what Bahik you think. Maybe it's instead of just doing one PR, also is getting Yan say as well. So one is there any tool we can move
but
the
may I ask a question? Why don't we move the small, we can move the small LLM repository to the long chain for J? I mean,
launching 4G dash CDI?
that's CDI, but I mean, yeah, in that case, you would keep on all the history.
So,
Instead, I mean,
so,
instead of
oh,
creating,
I
Yeah,
have
but then-
idea.
But it's not reflected like the LangChain for JCDI. So you have to redo the whole refactoring again.
I just have to change the last things that we did on top of that. But what I can do is then take my branch, and if we, I mean, the small LLM is sorry, the small LLM can be moved from one organization to the other. So I think that's what we could do, and we could rename the repository and move it to a different organization. In that case, we
Okay.
would keep on all the history, and then what I can do is either do PR afterwards or beforwards, before the move, and that way you would have all the history, and you could just use the new artifact Gav and everything.
Okay. So anyway, let me, so Emmanuel, you have some idea and want to try it out. So what kind of things you need? So do you need any any access? Do you
I
need
don't know. I mean, I don't know how to do it. I know I did it for stuff for Wi-Fi, but it wasn't me doing the administrative part. I mean, the GitHub part. So I don't know what is required on that side.
okay.
But
So
one of the way is to push to the small sorry, launching for JCDI from the branch and push everything there.
or
Okay,
push or directly push.
yeah, directly
Okay.
push instead of doing
Or
a PR.
instead of doing PR. Okay. Let
I-
me anyway, let me add you and Bohik to start with as a committers first. Let me launching 4G.
We just need to
Launching
make sure that the main
4G.
branch is not protected, I think. But, or it might be, I don't know if you, but what you can do is that, and we can, I mean, I will restart from my current CDI bis, function for CDI bis, and push that branch directly to function for CDI main. That way it will
Okay.
keep all the history. Because I think mine is just a single commit on top of the rest on the main branch. So we will keep on all the history in that case. I guess that would be the better way to do it. I
Okay.
don't know what you think.
We can try it out. If it doesn't work, we can do something else. Okay, I think that's fair. I think probably, if this is, yeah. What do you all think? I don't have any kind of, I don't have any commit history and etc. I think just trying to make sure it's fair to the like a commit like a contributors and etc. What do you think of Bahik and others?
I got no issues.
Yeah, sounds good to me actually.
Okay, so okay, in this case, I will we can discuss on Slack. I will make I will have a look. I will see what can I do? Make it if I can. If I cannot, I will reach out, find out how. I will get Emmanuel and Bahik to be able to push to the repo launching for the HDR, and we'll post on the Slack message there. Okay, that's sounds good, and then we can discuss. Anyway, we like when anybody else want to contribute a center, we'll just add people as committers. Okay, so that's all good. Anything else? I will say Emmanuel and Bohik. To try. Okay. Thank you all. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. Bye.
Me too.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.